Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So this week I have something just a little bit different for you guys. I have a what's for breakfast video. I usually do what's for dinners, but I thought I would share some breakfast recipes. Some people had asked about them, so here we go. I've got a few recipes for you guys. The first one is quiche. This is actually one of my husband's favorite breakfasts. I make this for him pretty often for him to take to work throughout the week, and he just loves it. This is the way I make it, but you could put like sausage in there or broccoli if you want to, like, just kind of go nuts and try whatever it is your family likes. My husband likes spinach and bacon, so I started off with some of the real bacon crumbles and put it inside of a thawed out pie crust, like the Pillsbury ones you get in the freezer. I added some bacon, some garlic powder, some salt, and some pepper, and then I thawed out some frozen chopped spinach and I wrung it out with my hands so there was no excess water. Then I just put that on top of the bacon. I tried to spread it around as evenly as I could. It's kind of hard because, it really wants to clump together once you've wrung it out with your hands. But I did manage to get it spread pretty evenly. The biggest thing is really make sure that you have wrung it out very, very well. And then I just put some regular cheese in there. I've done Gouda before in here, and he really, really liked that. And I think like maybe some kind of smoked cheese would probably be really delicious as well. Just kind of, like I said, whatever it is your family likes. This is what mine likes. Next, I just took that spinach bowl that I was using and I cracked a bunch of eggs in there. Whenever I'm doing a quiche, I usually do about 6 or 7 eggs. I kind of eyeball it and see how much liquid it looks like as I'm cracking the eggs in there. Sometimes 6 is perfect. Sometimes I can get to 7. And then I add a little bit of heavy cream in mine. You could add milk if you want to, or you could just not add anything. I always just like the creaminess that the heavy cream brings to it. I think it just is an improved baked egg. Then I added some salt and some pepper and some garlic powder, and I scrambled my eggs really, really well. You really want to make sure that you whip a lot of air into them and stuff and get the yolks completely scrambled and with the whites. Super, super important. And then we're just going to pour this over our quiche. I like to put it on a baking sheet because occasionally it will bubble over and this just helps prevent big messes. But I just carefully pour it evenly around the top of the quiche and let it soak down in between all the bacon and the spinach and the cheese. I bake it at 350 for about 30 minutes, and that's what it looks like. It is so delicious. Like I said, one of my husband's favorites. So these are some little baked creamy eggs. I wanted to try this. I was not a huge fan of this, but my husband loved it. So you grease your little ramekins. I just used some butter and rubbed it around the inside. Then you crack 2 eggs in there, and then you pour a little bit of heavy cream. And some of the recipes say like put some chives and stuff in there. I didn't have any. I just put some salt and pepper in. And then they all call for this Boursin cheese, which I've never really used before. So I just kind of crumbled it in and put it on top. You're not supposed to scramble these or mix these or anything. You just kind of put everything in the little ramekin together. And then you bake it at 350 degrees with just a little bit of butter. And it bakes into a really creamy egg. You only have to do it for, I think it's like 12 to 25 minutes, depending on your preference. We like, kind of like when you fry an egg, you want the runny yolk. That's about what I did with these. The yolk was still runny, but the whites had pretty much set. And you just bake it all together until it's the texture that you like. I did mine for, I think it was about 16 minutes. And then I served it with some little toast dippers on the side. I just, sliced up some bread and toasted it. And my husband, like I said, he loved this. If you like fried eggs, you're probably going to love this. I'm not a huge fan of eggs, so that's probably why it wasn't for me. But it did have some really good flavor. So this is the one that I was super excited about. One of my favorite breakfast items is a sausage biscuit. I absolutely adore sausage biscuits. I could eat them every day. I don't because they're terrible for you, but I love them. So I started off by just browning up a pound of breakfast sausage, and then I just let it cool off to the side. If you have a bunch of grease in yours, go ahead and drain it or soak it up with a paper towel or something. We don't want a ton of excess grease in here. You want it to be pretty dry. Then I set off making butter swim biscuits. I've made these before on my channel, and I will link the recipe down below. I'll link the recipe for everything that I can down below. These are really easy biscuits to make. They are not healthy biscuits, but they are delicious biscuits. Basically, you're mixing your flour and your baking powder and some sugar and some salt together, and then you add some buttermilk, and then you pour it into a bowl that has a stick of melted butter in it. It's a ton of butter, but it gets like all up over the sides of the butter and all up over the top and everything. And they get this beautiful flavor from the butter, kind of like, browning them and cooking them. So delicious. So the first time I made these biscuits, my thought was this would make an epic sausage biscuit, but they're a different texture, so I was afraid it wouldn't hold together. And then I thought, well, let's just put the sausage in the biscuit, and that is what I did. I melted that butter and I'm making my batter, and as soon as I have my buttermilk in here, then I'm going to add that pound of browned sausage and mix it into the biscuit batter. It was so delicious if you love a sausage biscuit. You could do this with bacon if you wanted to. You could do it with ham. You know, it really is your preference. With some eggs over the top, it was amazing. This was definitely my favorite breakfast out of all of these. I loved this so much. I would totally make it again. I do think I'm the only one in my household that loves sausage biscuits the way that I do, though. So you really got to love them for you to love this recipe. And it does make a pretty good sized batch of biscuits. That bowl is a good size. I don't know what my casserole dish is because it's round. I really want to say it's like an 8 or 9-inch long casserole dish. So this made a lot of biscuits. So you really have to love sausage biscuits for this, but it was definitely filling and delicious. Anyway, once you mix everything together, you just go ahead and put these in the oven and bake them. Like I said, I'll link the butter swim biscuit recipe down below so you guys can make it. It's at like 450 degrees for like 25 minutes, I think, if I remember correctly. And as you can see, I'm just kind of mushing the batter down, making sure the butter gets up the sides and a little bit over the top. And I think it is very important that you score this batter before you bake it. I don't know why, but I've read that on all the recipes, so I always do that when I make them. So delicious. Anyway, guys, got to try this. Let me know what you think, or if you try it with like bacon. I bet that's amazing. Tell me down below in the comments if you have tried it before. I'm really curious about it. So this is my last recipe, and this is my like cheat on making omelets. Yes, I can make a real omelet, but this is so much easier. So I take some parchment paper and put it into like a sheet pan, and then I spray some nonstick spray on it. And then I've been using a lot of egg whites for this because they are better for you. You could do this with regular eggs if you wanted to, just scramble them. It's the same method. Then you just pour the eggs into the parchment paper, and then you add whatever you want in your omelet. Again, my husband really likes bacon and spinach, so I'm just going to do bacon and spinach, but this could be potato and egg. It could be bacon and potato and egg, or it could be bacon and sausage, or it could have all kinds of veggies in it. I love a veggie omelet, like some jalapenos and tomatoes and onions. That sounds delicious. So anyway, like I said, you can go any direction you want. I was making this for my husband to take for lunches and for me to have, or to take for breakfast, and for me to have a breakfast for a couple of days during the week. So I just did bacon and spinach because it's super simple and so delicious. I love that frozen chopped spinach. It's easy to work with and it's cheap. And I used one bag for both of these meals. So that really did stretch out. I think I paid $1 for the bag. So 50 cents per breakfast, not bad at all. You can season these however you want. I'm keeping it pretty simple with some salt and some pepper. You could put in onion powder or garlic powder or whatever your heart desires is perfectly okay. And then you can put on whatever cheese you want. I'm doing just some regular triple cheddar. But if I was doing this just for me, I would probably throw some feta cheese in there instead because that's what my preference is. My husband does not care for feta cheese, so I'm just going to stick with regular old cheddar cheese for him. Anyway, just pop this in your oven at 350 until it is cooked all the way through. It kind of depends on the size of your sheet pan, but isn't it pretty? I think it's gorgeous. Then you just slice it up and put it in containers and you have an omelet. Those are the breakfasts I have for you guys. It was a quick video. These are so delicious. Go ahead and let me know if you've tried any of these or if you plan to try them down below in the comments and what you think. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching this video, and I will see y'all back here on Sunday for my What's for Dinner video. Have a great week, guys.